So yesterday I was walking in the woods and I came up with an idea to make myself what I would call a utility vest. Because yesterday when I was walking in the woods, I was carrying a chainsaw, my camera, also had my wood chopper. Sometimes I do carry a machete to chop down some of the branches of the weeds or the brushes and what have you. And it's nearing the hunting season that I may be carrying a gun or a bow also, along with some other attachments that I wanted to create or come up with this idea for utility, but that I can literally clip or attach things like a utility knife or other things that I may need when I'm deep in the woods. So I will be creating a template, a an idea in mind, and see what I come up with. We shall see. Just a rough sketch of what I want to do, maybe an idea. Trying to think of what I can do the back plate and how I want my straps to design, or maybe another idea. But in essence, that would be it, that I can attach a few loops or hooks that I can hang my knives or other things that I want to carry. But of course I have to pay attention to make the straps long enough and adjustable, since this is something that I will be wearing over my coat. So I will try to cut out some scrap paper or craft paper to come up with the template and to come up with a size idea before I start slicing up precious leather. I am tracing a life-size template on this craft paper or poster paper, so I can get the rough idea. On one side I'll be mimicking the front sections of the vest. I've been digging through some of my scrap pieces that I thought maybe I can utilize building into this vest to use certain sections. Once I am kind of content with the shape, I will be cutting the paper, and I'll cut this template out, draw it on a piece of leather, as long as the size is in the shape and the overall dimensions are fitting to my body. Again, I will still be making adjustable straps, so it could be expanded or made it larger or tighter depending on what you're wearing it over. Especially in the hunting season, the coats or overalls that you wear will make the uh, uh, vest kind of go tight if it's not adjustable. So I want to make sure it's fully adjustable, so however poofy the outfits that you're wearing, it still will go over it just fine. So you can utilize the pockets or the little hooks or attachments that I will be adding, so I can carry a bunch of my gear, knives, etc., like I mentioned earlier. So hopefully this size that I am drawing is good enough. I'll be holding it against my body to get a rough idea how long or how short this may fit. So I may have to alter it before I, like I said, cut the template and draw it on the leather and start using the hide. So we'll get back to that in a minute. The measurements seem okay. The overall length of the main portion of the utility vest is to my chest, to my waistline. I believe the front width or the broad part is enough to attach pockets maybe or other things on, and the wraparound part which comes right to the side of my body. So if I can duplicate this on both sides with the adjustable straps that will be going towards my back, meeting in a center plate on the back, and the belt that will also wrap around, that should be sufficient. I'm doing is making my mock vest out of the paper. I will, so that I can figure out the length of my straps that would be coming through. As I cut the paper, I decided to glue it on a little thicker cardboard so that I can actually keep a firmer shape. Now what I'm trying to do is figuring out the straps, because there will be a back plate that the straps will be attached to, and this will give me a little idea of how long I should keep the straps that are adjustable. Well, I again always have something in mind. I just go at it. I just do a trial and error. Again, before I make those errors on the expensive leather, I am doing a mock out of the cardboard and paper for now. So I'll work on this. I'll be doing a again the template for the back plate so I can gauge how long this strap should be. I'll be of course duplicating this very shape for the other side and start putting it together. Now it's time to trace the shape on the hide. I decided to use the thinner hide as I want it to be a little moldable as you wear it, and a couple parts I'll use a thicker hide to make sure the connection points for the straps are in a nice secure width, but the front portion I want it a little more flexible, so when you're wearing, sitting down, moving, it kind of moves with you instead of having this very stiff shape to it and form to it. Well, time to trace and cut 1/2. I'm trying to use my leather so I'm not wasting the nice large areas. What I'm thinking, this excess part on this side I may use for the back plate, or at least a side to it, but I may use a thicker hide for that, just to be sure all the straps will not tear off as you're trying to wrap it around you and try to buckle up. So we'll see how that comes out. Now that I have cut both sides, I wanted to make sure I put them against each other and make sure the edges, overall size and shape are identical, as close as possible. They were a little off, so I trimmed those pieces, and now I can start working on what I want to do for the back plate, where the straps will be meeting. So let me show you. These will be the two front pieces, mirror image, opposite direction of each other, and then the straps that's going to be going back over the shoulders, and different attachments and hooks and pockets to be able to carry whatever I want to carry with me. Now that the front plates, as I should call them, are ready, I will come up with what I want to do for the back plate and get my leather kind of moist so it's a little more workable. It's been a roll, so they do want to have that memory that they want to bounce back to in that curved shape. I'm going to lay them against each other just to give you the idea of the front panels. Well, let's go on to the next project and come up with what and how I can do this back plate with, and let's contemplate. I am thinking of making the back strap a little longer so that I can have maybe different things that I can extend off of it to attach things. I use my scyphing knife. I scythed the edge of the where I can fold it, maybe put a little D-ring here to be able to hook something from the lower back. Now what I'm trying to do is use my beveler and use the beveler along the edges to create a little more finished and rounded edges before I can start shaping things up. As I'm working on these, I'm thinking of maybe a color that I can make it into whatever dyes I have, because I try to use what I already have and come up with things that shouldn't go to waste. I do this as a hobby, however lately this is my second, third, maybe the fourth project. Some are finished, some are unfinished, and those that I know I'm going at it, I choose to record. One day I'm also thinking of just to display the things that I have done over the years. Just little things that I have decided to come up with. This whole idea of me working with leather and getting into leather craft was making dog collars for my large Mastiff breed dogs, the Turkish Kangal dogs that I used to breed. When I looked into some nice fancy collars for dogs and I saw them, they were $100 to $150 and even more, I said, I can make this. And that's how I got into the leather craft. And I'm sure I spent a lot more in materials and tools, and I also look for bargains. And I ended up meeting a gentleman that was retiring who used to teach leather crafting at BOCES, Vocational Education System. And I met him. He was really nice enough to let me have his tools for a very reasonable price. I am not going to mention the price, not to make you guys jealous, because it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful price, considering that I have had hundreds of different dyes, a lot of tools, even scraps and little hardwares, from the little clips to the belts and the rivets to what have you. So, well, as I am trying to shape this up, and this will be the back, I'm gonna be using and laying the fronts up and see what type of size ratio I'm gonna come up with, because I want to think of different hooks and attachment pieces or places that I want to build off of this. Hence the idea came to me, is what I want to call it, the utility vest, and I want to just go at it and see how it comes out. I am putting a couple of rivets. I come up with a little center piece for the back portion. I'm just securing this piece to the back. Now from these corners I will be having the shoulder straps coming through on either side and somehow attached to the front. And I will be putting I skived the edge again so I can fold it and put a D-ring to be able to attach something off the back. And I'll also have to cut holes to be able to put the belt section on the back, lower back, stretch from one side to the other. Just coming up with ideas as I go. Now attaching the D-ring to the bottom of the strap. That's going to be going back vertically on the back of my vest. just using rivets to hold it secure. Once it is done, I will be measuring where the straps should reach out to and how long I should cut them. So there's minimal waste on the leather and the straps that I want to use. This will take one more for the center, so it is nice and secure, and hopefully it will not come out. I have started preparing the overall layout so far. I ended up putting the back strap with a little scrap piece that I had that already had a little bit of a leather worked. I just cut that and made some loops, put some D-rings and secured it with rivets. I may do a little leather work, some design on this flat area. At the bottom I put a D-ring, and from both sides there will be these straps coming through. That's gonna go along the back side of your waist. Now I'm working on the straps that's gonna be coming from these D-rings. Now my strap is a little too wide for the D-rings, that's why I punched these holes, so the width of the leather left between those two holes are just perfect to go around and wrap in. Now I'll be securing these with also rivets, and then eventually come forward and somehow will attach to the front pieces. The piece has started to shape up. What I ended up doing, so the strap for the buckle for the belt loop doesn't show. I cut a little slice. I actually first of all punctured two holes and cut in between these holes. The reason I decided to punch holes first instead of just cutting a slice, hopefully if the slice is stretched and forced, the holes will prevent the tear to go farther. Of course it is possible that it may rip longer, but I fed the double-sided strap into the slice that I did and put a rivet so the connection and the excess parts are actually in the inside. I put a little buckle for the strap that will be coming through the back piece and the D-ring. I have also just attached the straps that will be coming from the center back piece and over. I temporarily put a little clip here to hold it in place so I can visualize it. Again, this is the back lower part, and this will be the loop that's going to attach to this side. So I'll be repeating my steps on this side. I had to stop and did a little progress as my camera battery died and memory card was full, but hopefully I can show you how I did my little attachments. Right there is the original drawing of what I had in mind. It's slowly shaping up to that, except for the very back piece. I decided to go for a longer strip that goes all the way down, and once I attach my buckles, the empty spaces here, I'll be attaching some loops and maybe pockets to make that large chest piece is more utilitarian. I just wanted to get the overall shape done, and it's a lot of trial and error because I am trying to fit it over my shoulders, holding it against my body to shape it up. It would have been a lot easier and quicker had I had a model or a mannequin even. What I'm working on is now getting the buckle strap ready for the other side. I will be cutting my slot where the strap will pass through. I'll punch a hole and secure this in place so I can have the other side belt portion come and go through the new buckle so it matches the other side. And I'll be doing the same thing on the shoulder straps where it will be coming to the top of the front pieces, but I still have to adjust the length of my straps before I cut it, so I will be working on that. Well, let's get this slot cut up. For that I'm just using a ruler so I can have my cut nice and straight right between the two lines. Actually, but right between the two holes that I punched. Right here is the, let me get it closer to the camera. Right here's my opening. Once I have the buckle pass through and set up, like this. I didn't have the right tool for the centerpiece of the buckle to go through. I punch holes, a couple of them side by side to make it a little wider, so the centerpiece of the buckle actually moves a little freely. So I have to make sure it is facing the right way instead of the opposite, because the little loop for the centerpiece of this buckle should lay nice and flat against the top bar. So this would make it nice and even. This should face this way, just like so. So it does give us a nice little finished look, and when the belt comes through this side and the pin goes through a hole, it lays nice and flat, and this way it gives you that clean, nice look as well. Now I'm gonna be right around here punching a hole, putting a rivet so that is nice and tight and it will not come undone. Just want to make sure I am about the same distance from the slit that I opened, measuring, kind of eyeing it for from the other side. Again, I just want to make sure my both sides of the strap are nice and aligned too before I punch my hole. Now it's time to find a good spot and secure this, making sure I am centered on both sides, and punch my hole. Now that I have my hole punched through the front piece and all the way across, I'll be putting a rivet so it is secured in place. For that, I will pick one and make sure it's not too tall, and you make sure you put the bottom piece of your stud on the rivet at the bottom. It goes through. You have this tiny little anvil designed specifically for the rivets. You lay it down, you put your stud on it, and you use a little top cap, if you will. Set it on. Get your little punch tool, which one side is concave. You lay it on top and hammer it in where it mushrooms out, and it's nice and secure now. There's the back side. I'll be cutting some of this excess straps. Just wanted to show you how I did the previous side earlier when I was out of camera power. Now that it is on this side, I will be matching my holes for the strap for the buckle on this side, and I will also want to match the, if you notice, I kind of cut the strap into a point so it's easier to go through the buckle. I want to make sure I kind of match that same angle so it looks somewhat nice. Of course, after I'm done setting up all this, I will be doing a little finishing touches, smoothen out and burnish the rough sides before I go into coloring and decorating it a little better. So let me go at it. I will get back to you to see what I came up with, how I want to attach the shoulder straps. I am using the edging tool and beveling the edges of the straps that I just cut. That will be the shoulder part, so it's a little rounded. I will go ahead and get the other side done so they are uniform looking. That gives a little better finished look, as the edges of this strap will be rounded, and of course once you burnish them, gives that nice smooth finish on the edges. Slowly shaping up. Now this would be attached to the front of the shoulder pieces, and then the empty areas I'll be working to attach more hooks or pockets or what have you to be utilitarian. Now that I got my straps length adjusted, I'm going to be punching a couple of notches on either side of the strap so I can put a couple of D-rings to be able to hang things on, or maybe a carabiner or what have you, just to have that extra ability to hook things onto it, whether it be a hunting knife and whatnot. Of course, the strap was a little too wide compared to what I have in terms of accessories. That's why I'm cutting these notches. Let me show you. So I will be feeding and forcing the leather strap through the ring. And then and I have my piece ready. To attach, like so. I will have that ring just hanging right on there. I'll be duplicating the same process for the other side. I have connected the straps that will be coming over through the shoulders. This is from the back. Now it looks like something wearable. Let's try it on. Since I made it for myself, I did not want to worry about making the shoulder straps adjustable, as I may wear a bulky coat or whatnot. As long as the waistline straps are adjustable, doesn't matter how bulky the coat or whatever I may be putting this over, will be just fine. I want to make sure the shoulder and the chest height is actually to my fitting. I will turn around and see what it looks like in the back. Again, from the back loop I can put a machete, and on the back I want to attach something. Maybe I can carry my wood chopper or what have you as I walk into the woods. And now I'll be trying to utilize the front empty space. I added these little loops, and what I'll be also trying to do is create a strap that attaches my abdomen area so it doesn't flap open as I'm walking. So that part obviously has to be adjustable, because as you age, you know what happens to your abs. But my excuse is I'll be wearing a winter coat, and then over the winter coat in the woods I'll be wearing this. So I will come up with a abdomen type strap to hold it closed, so it's not bouncing as I'm walking in the woods or hiking or hunting. So we'll figure out what I can do to utilize this front area now. Hello again. Last night I had to pause recording the video, and therefore I couldn't show you the progress I made so far. A couple things: I ran out of the battery and my memory card was full, so I had to download it to a hard drive. But so far I have just added a front pocket, side stitched, put some rivets, therefore it allows a little air to flow from the bottom side of the pocket, or if it gets wet or any debris stuck in it, it may help it. I did put a couple of snaps to be able to close it. Let me show you, just to give you an idea. This is so far what I have done. The back straps are measured nice. This is the back view again. Now I will be adding other holsters, maybe to be able to hold a knife on the front, and a couple other things that I may just find useful. So that's what I'm going to be contemplating on now, what is next, and add a couple hardwares just to dress it up, buckles or little pins or what have you, just to give it a little character before I go ahead and dye the utility vest. So let's go back at it and see what we come up with. Right now I'm working on another buckle to be able to put the belt through for the chest piece, so that when I have the vest on, the front will stay intact and it won't be opening up and flapping around. I'm just eyeing out equally where the belt will be crossing across the chest area, so I can locate where my buckle should position, so it's nice and even across. After determining right above the pocket where the strap should lay against is a good area, which falls right on below my chest, right in the area that I can easily reach, undo to be able to take it off without having to go down or too high. So that will work just fine. After I determined where it will fall nice and even, I wanted to actually use the dark brown piece I'm using for the access point. I'm gonna see if it is gonna reach my hole punch, and I will punch the hole all the way through for my rivet to go through nice and evenly. That is just about right here. That should do. Now that I have my hole punched, I will be putting another rivet to secure that piece, and I can adjust my belt and cut and shape my belt that will be going through this section. Let me go ahead and get this, and I'll show you what I end up doing with the belt part. So far, so good. Now here's the belt part. I made it deliberately taller, longer, as again, if I am wearing heavier coat or cold gear, it does have room for expansion. Now that I am content with the way it's fixated here and the belt is buckle is attached, I will be cutting the excess strap, and I will also put a slot here to hide the excess part, as I will be doing the same thing for these excess pieces, so that when it is done it kind of goes behind the vest and it stays intact instead of flapping around. So let me work on that. I will trim and shape the tip of the strap here for the chest area, and I'll keep working on it. Let's get this edge beveler and trim the edges of the strap so it's got a nicer, smoother edge. And continue on to different accessorization. The vest is shaping up. As I was off the camera, I added a few accents, just decoration, and some front pieces. The little strap here, another loop that I can put things through. My belt buckle is done. Actually, let me throw this on so I can show you. Once it is attached, I can feed the excess strap underneath so it doesn't show, if you were to carry a hunting knife, what have you, using your hunting knife's belt loops, you can put it through. I did put a snap here that I can just snap it against, and then put the tip through it so it's not moving out or wobbly. I attached these little accessories. This happened to be a key wallet hooks. I just put it through and secured it with rivets, so I can just attach hooks or whatever, carry little knickknacks, maybe the rags for dough sand or whatever. The pockets, again with the snaps that you can secure things to. It's just shaping up. I'm using different scraps of leather. The dyed one with the natural brand, the original hide. Try to use all white or chrome accents so they are somewhat uniform throughout, including the rivets. What I'll be doing is dyeing this mainly black. So against the black surface, this fake snake skin faux leather piece will stick out. Of course the dark brown ones too. And see how it turns out. Again, plenty of room, and still either against the waistline or the chest there's more room to expand it, given that it may be going over heavy coats. Well, I decided to dye it. I went and looked for a very old dye. It says orange, never used orange before. It's actually on the natural hide. It's actually coming out good. I decided to make a combination of black and orange just to see how it will come out. And when I was opening the lid actually literally broke off. The cap is gone, so I'll use as much as this so I can just throw it away. It is an interesting color for sure. I always use the natural colors, the antique blacks or the browns. Just said orange. I said why not? And let's try and see what it comes up. Well, it is actually coming out a little better than I anticipated. This is the straps that I decided to go with orange. Once it's drying, it's actually coming out pretty good. The back straight portion looks a little darker, but I'm sure it is because it's still somewhat moist. As it dries up, it'll bring the orange look. Since I'll be using this mostly in hunting, I thought maybe a little bit of orange showing will substitute the safety vest that you're supposed to wear in the woods. This would hopefully add a little more color while you're walking in the woods in total camouflage. It is natural hide. It's soaking up the dye, and it was relatively dry also, so the orange dye is being absorbed right into the hide pretty fast. Once it saturates and starts drying up, the true color of the orange is actually start showing. Once we add a little color, it's shaping up nicely. On the main chest parts, I'm trying to go dark black. The paint is somewhat dry, but when you spread it, it does actually apply, so I'll stick with it. And the back ground of black, the orange actually stands out pretty nice. As I'm waiting for the one side to dry, I will go ahead and apply the black paint. It's pretty much turned into gel, so it doesn't really do it. I just have to keep rubbing it to get the dye into the hide and make this side black as well. And I'll show you the finished product. It's getting late. I want to call it the night, and just wanted to get this coat of paint, let it dry, maybe apply a little more touches, and finish the project at this level. I'll show you once I have it dry. I'll put the vest back together with the straps and everything and leave it to your judgment. Thank you. I'm waiting for it to dry a little. The beautiful mess of dyeing. I was too lazy to go get rubber gloves. I wasn't even sure if I have any, but again, with the black and the orange, the drier it gets, the brighter it becomes, which actually pleases me. Like I said, having to wear it over my hunting gear, I actually like the idea of some safety orange showing. It actually worked out pretty good. As it dries a little, I'll put the vest together and I will show you the vest back fully assembled. Well, I just wanted to show you the finished product. Again, the paint, the dye is still a little moist, but like I said, it's getting late and I don't want to waste too much more time on this. I just wanted to show you that I put a little strap, little hooks to attach anything, a little snap that would release the knife so I can still detach it so it's not permanently there, and I can remove the whole thing even with its scabbard. The reason I put this in there, once it is snapped here, as you're walking in the woods, it's not going to be flapping and moving around. Also, I thought maybe later, if I had to carry a maybe hammer or a hatchet, the head of the hatchet will be actually wide enough that I can just stick the handle through and still make it like almost like a hammer pocket on a carpenter's pant. The orange actually, like I said, does contrast against the darker color. I used the black and I ended up doing a little bit of antique finish, so it still shows some of the tan behind the black background, but overall the orange straps contrasted again. Using my little scrapped fake snake skin pocket came out nice against the darker background now. Again, little pocket that I can put little knickknacks, ammo, what have you, right here in the pocket. let me walk out a little. On the side, I attached a little pouch that I can stuff with snaps. I can just open it and carry whatever I may have. I'll turn around so you guys can see the back side. Again, the orange will add a little color in the woods, using it on camouflage coat or anything that I'm wearing over. I had this little key chain thingy that I made. I just attached it there just so that I can show what I could hang off of these straps. They are nice and thick, and again, keeps your hands busy, your pockets busy. You can always remove the vest and just lay it on the ground, so if you needed to take everything apart or empty out your pockets, will not be a case anymore. Hope you guys like the idea. This is what I inspired to do. I just went at it, and it's a matter of 2 nights that I get to work on my free time. I just came up with this. This is a hobby. I work long hours, 11 hours a day. I only get a weekday and a Sunday off, and I still do other chores and errands on those days. I wish I had more time so I could get better at what I do, or spend more time with my family and enjoy the woods that I love going a lot more, but that is life. So hopefully you like it, my utility vest. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on my next project or out in the woods. Bye now.